hate having to ask for help because of the constant letdowns.
I don't have nothing to say about that.
Yeah, it's the letdown.
Well, I do.
Yo,
I'm Chris.
and I'm Trav,
And
and
we
we're
are
Fake
Fake
Rich
Rich
and
and Tired.
Tired.
You got it.
So, as promised, we are coming to you with our very first edition of
Mismatched
Mismatched Monday
Mondays.
here on Fake Rich and Tired. We're going to talk about this move.
That's our first mismatch.
I don't like moving.
I was happy with moving.
I don't like it. And we're going to talk about why.
Okay.
The reason why I don't like it is actually kind of very serious. The reason why I don't like moving stems from childhood. We moved around a lot as kids, my brother and I, obviously with my mother because we couldn't do it on our own. But it started in Mississippi, and then we moved to Cali, and we stayed there for a few years. And in each of those states, we moved around. We moved to Chicago, moved around. There was just no sense of stability.
Okay.
So for me, it just kind of re-sparks that thought of here we go again. And that's one of the major reasons I don't like moving.
So, just to go back, how this came about is as we were preparing for this move,
Mm-hmm.
he said that. He said, I don't like moving. And my response to that was, like, I'm happy. Like, I'm glad we're moving.
Right.
Part of that wasn't just because I just like moving. It was because I'm in this period of my life, y'all, where I'm doing this whole manifesting thing. And I feel like when you focus on the negative,
You
it
get
brings,
the negative.
yep.
Yeah.
And so I was focusing on the positive of us moving. So even though I was doing that, it did spark that, he paused and looked at me like, what the hell you mean you like
who
this?
the
How could you
likes
like this?
Yeah.
We packing, we cleaning, like
Yeah.
all types of stuff going on. But there is an aspect of moving that I do like. I like change. I
Okay.
don't like complacency. So I
Right.
like to be stretched outside of the norm.
And this is before positive affirmation.
Yeah.
And okay,
Yeah.
I can attest to it. I just wanted to clarify for you guys.
I like a change of pace, a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Because I think it makes me change like my mindset, my thinking, and how I'm approaching stuff. So that is what I meant when I said I like
Right.
or I'm happy with the move.
And I'm different in that regard. I can get very comfortable. I will sit and I'm cool. So
And I wouldn't say couldn't sit still. Like I can.
mm-hmm.
I prefer not to again get complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you sit and look at the same thing every day all the time, like you can get stuck there.
True.
And I want to change, I want to see something different. Like when we met, I was moving,
Yeah.
so that should have told you right there
It
how
did.
comfortable I was with moving. And
She
I
would get
wasn't
up and
moving
go.
down the street,
Right.
I was moving far away.
Yeah.
What you said about moving around, like as a kid I moved around too. Maybe not as often. I think we probably moved every few years or so.
Right.
But we moved
Yeah.
and I liked it. When we
It's
did
interesting.
have those changes, like going to a different school, getting a different setting, getting new
You
teachers,
like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
I did like
I was
that.
totally different. I didn't like it. I'd finally make a group of friends, and then we got to uproot and leave. And it wasn't like we left.
Well, y'all wasn't moving like down the
Right.
street. That's a
We
difference
didn't
too.
leave to where we could still remain in close
Right.
contact with these people. We would build relationships and then have to cut ties, and that was fairly frequent. It was frequent enough to where the relationships I have are based on what came out of Chicago and not from other places.
Like my moves were from low end of Chicago to southeast side.
Right.
Your move was Mississippi to California,
With no cell
California to
phones,
Chicago.
no addresses.
That's a big
Yeah.
difference. Like a move, like we just moved from South Carolina to Georgia. We moving from Chicago to South Carolina is a good example
Yeah.
because that was and we have cell phones now, but those every other night on the block kicking it sessions are different now.
True.
So I think that's the difference. I moved a lot, but I moved a few miles away.
Right. Yeah. When we moved different states, but even within the same state, at the times we were moving, we kind of didn't have control. So even if it was a few miles away, my mother wasn't taking us back to the old neighborhood to still kick it with Kevin and his cousin or whatever. It was just like once we moved, we were too young to have the option of still keeping those friendships.
The only reason I can't agree is because between me living in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and spending every summer with my family and friends in Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
I kept those relationships. And that was before
How
cell
did you do that?
phones. We wrote letters.
Mm-hmm.
We talked on the phone every once in a while because that was
Right.
back when long distance costs.
Right.
So we talked on the phone every once in a
Right.
while, and I did go back down there every summer. So that is a difference. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we had to sever
We
ties.
didn't go back every summer from regardless of where we moved to. Even the initial move from Mississippi to California, as much of our roots remained in Mississippi, the only ones we really remained in contact with were family members. Outside of that, when we were moving, my mother, it's not like my mother said, "Hey, this is what's about to happen. Make sure you get their addresses so you can send them letters or whatever." We just knew we were moving. The other thing was the amount of work that goes into moving. The amount of work that goes into moving is freaking crazy because your life does not stop, but you have to add on the work that comes with moving, the packing, the looking for a place, the job adjustment, and all of that good stuff. So,
And yeah, I think it depends on how you look at the work because me on the opposite end, what I'm looking at is a lot of stuff that didn't get done is getting done now because we got to move. So we had to do deep cleaning. We had
right,
to go in and throw away a bunch of stuff that we had boxes and totes that hadn't been unpacked
we
from
did.
when we moved down
We
there.
did that we
And
should have been
so
through away,
and
or
so
at least
that's
went through.
yeah, and so that's I think
Yeah.
where my opposite side is of that
Mm-hmm.
is it is a lot of work, but it's work we should have been doing for the past three
And
years.
we
Well, some
didn't.
of it, not all of it,
And we didn't.
but like the deep cleaning and stuff like that. Like yeah, we have our cleaners that come in, but it's just some about when you go in and do that deep cleaning and throw away what you need
Yeah.
to throw away and but nobody cleans your stuff like you clean your stuff. Like it's just something
Agreed.
about how you want it clean.
Agreed.
You do know that because when you clean up like
Yes.
so even though Melissa came in, she's never came in and just deep cleaned everything like
Right.
so it was a satisfaction that I got from
Everything
going
being.
in. Like when you taught me how to pressure wash, oh, it was over after
Yeah.
that because I was pressure washing everything because I'm like, I could have been did this. Like I
Yeah.
could have been had my sidewalks looking like this.
Yeah.
So that's the work that went into
Yeah.
that. I feel like if I had been doing that for at least a few times for the past 3 years,
It wouldn't be
it
as.
wouldn't be as much work. So that's our opposite of that. Things
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was a whole lot of work, but for
I agree.
me, it was satisfying work because I'm like, ooh, we get to
Which we'd have
deep
been
clean
did
this
this. Yeah.
garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I see it like that.
Yeah. I think the other thing for me as far as moving, the cost of it.
Moving is
The
expensive.
cost of it is expensive. And again, your life do not stop. You have to come up with if you're renting first month, last month, security, the carpet cleaners or whatever it takes to get your previous security deposit back, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot that goes into that. What's
And
the other
my
one?
viewpoint on that, wait, we have
Okay.
to do both
Okay.
sides. Is there are things now that we're looking at, now we're moving, so it don't benefit us, but there are things that we were able to do, like going down and putting out new mulch and making it look nice and
Yes.
stuff that we probably should have been did anyway
But we did. We tidied it up.
last year.
Right. How often does that have to be
You need to
done?
remulch every season.
Oh, well, okay, I didn't know that.
Well, the two
I'm
two
not the
major
mulcher.
seasons.
I had no clue.
But I just thought about
Once
that
I
because that
cut
was the
that
last
bush
thing.
down, which goes into the work
You
part
said
of
that
it.
was it.
Once I cut, I think it was like 3 bushes that were damn near as tall as the house. Once we did that type of work, I I thought my troubles were over. When we got there, no grass in the back. It was
I still have the picture.
dirt
I'm gonna put the
hills
picture
and
up.
all of that good stuff.
And we planted new
That was
grass.
fun. I love that. I didn't to see the beauty after the effort was great.
And it still
But
wasn't
we
what I
got a
wanted.
chance to enjoy it versus putting that work in, beautifying it just to move and say, "Hey, we did our part."
I think that too is because that's more than a security deposit. I think that is just us morally
Yeah. I want to
because
leave it better
I
than
want to leave it
when
better
I
than when
got
I
in there.
came
Yeah.
because they probably didn't even notice all that. They got there and was like, "Ooh, this
See
house
the
look good.
worst.
Okay, we're ready." But it's just, but if
Yeah.
we didn't, if we were like some people and left it trash,
Yeah.
then because it ain't just about getting a security deposit back, it's just I was raised to leave stuff better than
Agreed.
you got it.
Agreed.
And so I wanted to leave it that way.
Agreed.
And I'm hoping the next people that go in there feel blessed and be like,
And that's
this is beautiful.
I'm hoping that the same way we prayed for that place and the place before it and the place before it, and it was truly a blessing to us. I'm hoping that whoever comes in after feels the
They
same
feel that
way
same way.
and they feel like they were done right by the way it was left.
Yep.
That's the intention behind doing that type of work without, I guess, the instant gratification
Yep.
or whatever. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, but I get it. That it is a lot of work.
It
I'm
is.
still exhausted.
It's a lot of work.
We've been here 2 weeks, haven't unpacked, and I'm still exhausted.
Even more when it's just you two, you know, all of that plus the actual move. The driving a U-Haul should have made the list. We had a 26-footer with
And towing a car.
and towing a car. Now, moving will turn you into an automatic CDL permit holder. I really feel like I should
Those
have
things
my
are
CDL
huge.
permit.
That 26 footer is huge. What's next?
Next thing is finding the right fit. So, without the appropriate amount of time, so because of the way we moved this time, it was like job ended, we have to go. There's no way we're going to stay here. There's nothing holding us here. You know, we got to go. Because of that, it made it difficult to find the right fit. So we had a few houses come up that we drove out to look at, and there was a part of me that was settling. Like, you know what? It's good enough
I realize that
because
now.
we have to
We were like, oh, we like this.
we have to make this happen. You know, one of the houses that we just absolutely adored turned out to be so trash when we went to see it. Now, granted,
They took some good pictures.
they took some great pictures. They took some great pictures. I don't know if those were like super before or I don't know, but they took some great pictures, and we were like, okay, yeah. Luckily, we didn't get that one. Hell, I don't even think we put in an app for it.
No.
But there were some that we were putting in apps for that
They fell through. People were getting
they
them before us.
didn't meet our criteria. And we had our conversation of what we were looking to get.
But we also had a couple that we applied for that went off the market. Like we put in
Right.
an application and they'd be like, oh, somebody else got
Right.
it. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. So finding the right fit, that is a difficult part of moving. One of the reasons why I don't like it is because in this particular instance, the amount of time we had versus what was out there, it was like, we need more time. We need more time.
Because I agree with the time. It was a crunch.
It was a crunch.
But the thing I like about the finding the right fit is it allowed us to see some different stuff
Absolutely.
for us to be like, oh, I like this. Oh, maybe I don't like this. Maybe this part wasn't as important to me as other parts, or because I mean, we currently are not in the position to get like that dream house that we're
Right.
looking for. So we had to make some sacrifices.
Right.
But I think it allowed us to see some different things to where we know, especially when we do get our dream house, some of the stuff we're like, we know we can't do this.
Yeah.
Like, so that's my opposite of that, where finding the right fit, it can be a rough thing.
It's a challenge. It can be a challenge.
But I feel like it got us to see so many different options where we like, okay, when we are able to put together that dream house that we want, we know from the
Pick
10
a
or
little
12
bit out of
properties we
here,
saw.
a little bit out of here, a little bit out of
That's
here.
how we can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, mind you, we picked this house without stepping foot in it.
Really.
Now, we trusted the people we got it from,
Yeah.
so that was part of it. But this is the first time we've ever chosen. I mean, we were far. We were putting in applications. People
Right.
were taking stuff. So when we saw the pictures for this, and because we know the people we're getting it from, I think that gave it a little trust. But because we kept losing houses, we put our bid in on this house without
Immediately.
stepping foot into
Immediately.
it. So that's
It
it's
wasn't even
scary,
on the-
but it was a blessing.
It wasn't even ready for move-in or
Nope.
anything like that.
That's
They
why we just
had
took
it available for people to put applications in. And we were like, you know what? We're going to take it.
We
and
took it.
That's me looking at the positive. The last thing on my list was the biggest thing. And if you have watched the last video, Toasting with the Travises, you'll see who my toast was to. And here's the reason why. The last thing on my list for reasons why I hate moving is I hate having to ask for help. Having to ask for help is that's been very difficult for me for a while because of the constant letdowns. And a lot of those letdowns, when you talk to people, are for extremely valid reasons. So I don't have an issue with people or anything like that, but it's just knowing, and maybe I manifested this, I don't know, but being let down when you need people the most. My wife can tell you, I was willing to just haul whatever was heavy on my back and we was going to figure it out by myself. It's the letdown. That's all I can say.
I don't have nothing to say about that.
Yeah. It's the letdown.
Well, I do. So, what I will say is that has opened my eyes to know that I will, from now on, be prepared to pay people to do what I want them to do. Look, I don't like cleaning up my house all the time. What we do, we figured out a way to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
He won't let me do the lawn. The lawn is next. But
Here?
I mean, no, just
Oh.
period.
Okay.
I like cutting grass. I actually get enjoyment out of cutting grass. But when I don't want to do it, I would rather just pay somebody to do it. So the point is, for stuff like that,
Yeah.
I'm not looking to depend on friends to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's opening my eyes so that I know to be prepared to pay the professionals.
Yeah.
So they can come in, get it done, knock it out, and then we'd be moved in and probably unpacked by now because we won't be so tired from moving.
You know what? And I think that's the one thing we agree on out of this whole list. I am there. I'll just
Next
pay
time we do it,
people,
we're gonna pay them.
and payment comes with expectation. I don't have a problem with paying friends. It's just it comes with expectation, and if that's what it is, that's what it is. I have no problems with that.
And we will get there. So
Yeah.
the the next time we do it, it definitely will be we gonna figure out how to pay it. I want to go back to because this is fake rich and tired, and I don't want people to think we just balling. No,
Right.
we put our budget together to figure out how to put these things in there.
What do we have to sacrifice leading up to it? And
Exactly. I don't want people to
right.
think, oh, I'm just bougie and whatever because I
Yeah.
pay a cleaner. No, I fix my budget to be like, okay, I know this cleaner is whatever she costs.
Right.
So I work that into the budget. So I wanted to put that out there
Yeah.
because people
And
will probably
Groupon
be
is a
like,
mug.
bruh, I did not get the cleaner from Groupon.
Didn't say you did.
but,
I'm giving people options.
but if you
Giving
are
people
in the
options.
upstate South Carolina area, May Glamorous with Melissa, get her. She is the bomb. My move out
Oh, she
cleanup.
did it.
She did it. The
Yeah.
only thing that they dinged us for was that doggone stove, which I'm mad about because that stove was like that when we got there. But that's a
Yeah.
whole nother video.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those are our opposites.
Those are our
That's
opposites.
how we're mismatched. He doesn't like moving. I like moving.
You guys have heard my side. You've heard her side. The biggest thing that I hope you got from this is at some point we both ask questions to get an idea or a deeper understanding as to why someone feels that way,
Yep.
whether or not the words are correct as you said it, or is there something deeper to it? Just really trying to get an understanding because at the end of this experience, we still deal with these conversations.
Yep.
And
We still
and
had to move. He don't like it, but we
right,
still had to
but
move.
we still had to do it. And in dealing with these conversations, it gives us a better understanding as to how to approach what I come with to the conversation. Knowing that this is how she feels, if I know that she has a positive outlook for each one, okay, I understand this, I see this, help me figure out how to look at this situation the same way you're looking at it. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's what um, came across because that's the entire point of these conversations. It's to show what our opposites are and to show how we deal with them and how we've been able to get along enough not to leave for 20 years. 17 married coming up. So, love you guys. Hopefully this conversation touches you guys. Hopefully it was entertaining and you got something from it. What you got something?
What he said.
This Chris, I'm Trav,
And then
and
we
we're
are
fake
fake
rich
rich
and
and tired.
tired.